you all here? Here we go. Be the change you want to see in this world. Won't you sing that with me?
Be the change you want to see in this world.
Here's another line. And take the time to rearrange what you can change. Sing that.
Take the time to rearrange what you can change.
Put them all together now.
Be the change you want to see in this world. Take the time to rearrange what you can change. Be the change you want to see in this world. I know that we can make it. Take the time to rearrange what you can change. Be the change you want to see in this world. I know that we can make it. Take the time to rearrange what you can change. Let go and surrender all the tears and pain, and be the change you want to see in this world. Be the change you want to see in this world. I know that we can make it. Take the time to rearrange what you can change. Be the change you want to see in this world. I know that we can make it. Take the time to rearrange what you can change.
Let it go now.
Let go and surrender all the tears and pain, and be the change you want to see in this world. Be the change you want to see in this world. You want to see me. The change you want to see in this world. Come on, everybody, I know you can do it. The change you can change the change you want to see. Come on, everybody, I know you can do it. The change, be the change you want in this world. The change, be the change, so you can do it. The change, be the change you want in this world. The change, be the change, so you can do it. The change, be the change you want in this world. The change, be the change, so you can do it. The change, be the change you want in this world. The change, be the change, so you can do it. The change, be the change you want in this world. Be the change you want to see in this world. The change you want to see in this world. The change you want to see in this world. The change you want to see in this world. The change you want to see in this world.
There is one life. This life is God's life. This infinite loving presence, peace, joy, beauty, truth in and throughout the universe. This infinite universal one, we are one with Spirit divine, flowing in and throughout our lives. We are one. And I speak my word this glorious Easter morning for all who are here, within these walls and without the walls. We are loved and loving, nurtured and held in the loving arms of God's love. For God is all there is no other. Only this joyous, infinite, universal, loving presence. And I bless this service, all who have come before to prepare this sanctuary, all who serve us in the social hall, and the children in the youth church, and the choir, the musicians, the message, all prepared for our highest and best lives, right here and right now. And I release my word, for I am so grateful for this truth. I release my word into the law of mind, knowing that the creative process has begun and is made manifest now. And so it is. Amen. Good morning. My name is Sherry Corbett, and I am a practitioner here at the center. On this wonderful Easter morning, I'd like to share a reading with you written by Eileen Carlson, entitled Germination. Our lives are like gardens, where the seeds we plant through our thoughts and intentions germinate into full expression. The garden within is the substance of God that dwells in each one of us. We take time to be conscious of the seeds, our thoughts, that we plant in order to reap the fullest harvest. Germination means developing, producing, creating, and causing to come into existence. Our thoughts and words are like seeds that germinate in our spiritual garden. Like the farmer who plants his seeds in rich soil, we carefully select our thoughts and words and nurture them for bountiful results. And so it is. Please join me in reading the affirmation. We see a world in which we are surrounded by creative mind, where we rediscover our personal creative power.
Thank you very much, Mr. Christopher Fritchie and the One Heart Choir. Thank you so much. And while they are exiting the stage, won't you turn around and say Happy Easter to somebody close to you? Once again, a very heartfelt thank you for our One Heart Choir and the beautiful music. And also to William Abel for the beautiful stage that we have. That's Sherry Corbett, our practitioner on duty, has been saying the prayer for our Easter morning for 32 consecutive years. Yeah. You'd think she'd get it right by now. Actually, Sherry selects the readings for us and really brings some, she's like an anchor for us. And her and Paul Corbett, her husband, are both practitioners for over 20 years, meaning they have emeritus status. They are professional prayer practitioners with emeritus status. That's really something. I like to mention that, because we're a fairly new religion, but people come here and they stay for a long time. So, welcome to your new home. Well, happy Easter. It is the time that the Christian world is celebrating the renewal of faith, and coincidentally, it takes place right at springtime, which is a time of reawakening in nature itself. Rebirth is everywhere. The world itself seems to be projecting newness everywhere you look, at least in the northern hemisphere. Because in the southern hemisphere, of course, Earth is cycling into the dark of winter and the cold again. And the reason why I like to remember that, it's helpful for me to remember that somewhere spring is always happening. So that I don't give up during those times when I'm cycling into my dark winter times, right? To remember life is always trying to birth something new somewhere all of the time. Newness is the way of divine life. Newness is always being birthed all the time somewhere. It certainly seems to be the case in our world right now. We seem to be being challenged to think bigger about life, bigger about ourselves, new ideas about how to be in the world. And I think the internet has a little bit to do with that, because the internet has made our world smaller in that we have access to things that we never used to have before. We can go anywhere, learn about anything, see anything thanks to the World Wide Web. So we're being exposed to multiculturalism and diversity and in a way that we haven't ever been before. And I think as a result, a lot of the older ways of being in this world have had to give way, make room for newness to emerge. Oh, but old ideas don't surrender that easily, do they? Maybe you do this. What I do is every now and then I'll clean my closets out. You know, spring's a good time to do that. Go through, get rid of all the old stuff to make room for the new. Except that there is this shirt in my closet. It's very expensive. Thing is, it doesn't fit me. It's not a good color. And it's completely out of style, always has been. I can't wear it anywhere because it clashes with just about everything on the planet. Yet, I have kept it for 20 years, schlepping it from new house to new house to new closet to new closet. And I tell myself, maybe it will come back into fashion one day. You've got one of those shirts too, huh? Maybe it will fit me one day. Maybe it isn't as bad as it looks in the mirror. And maybe you have a habit or something like that in your life that you know it needs to go, but you just can't seem to let go of it that easily, even though you know it is occupying the place where something else new and bright and wonderful wants to be born. The internet definitely has made our world different, smaller. I think it's possible to see it, how politicians and people and politics and cultures are colliding in ways they never have had to before. And so we are in this place of having to learn how to accept, embrace, and be with differences that we've never had to bother ourselves with before. But our old ideas, they just don't give up that easily. But nevertheless, at the same time, spring is happening somewhere. At the same time, it seems to me, humanity is waking up to something new. Sometimes it feels like a personal awakening in me, and sometimes it feels like it's a global awakening, and always it seems painfully too slow. And sometimes we flip-flop between progress forward and then retreat backwards. We've made so many wonderful, great strides in society with human rights and social equality, and then bam, a voice emerges in society. It rises up, trying to convince people to take many steps backwards into the dark ages, to begin to fear and be suspicious of anyone who is different. Oh, but those voices of fear, they're always here. They've always been here. like opportunistic infections, preying on weakened immune systems. Do you remember when the year 2000 rolled over? Bringing with it such celebration and the possibility of a new century and all the hope that could come with it. And there they were, the voices of fear, drumming up anxiety and fear about something that would never happen. That's what they do. Thomas Jefferson wrote about it to John Adams. He wrote about that topic of the projected worst case scenario, projected misfortunes that will never happen. This is what he wrote. There are indeed gloomy and hypochondriac minds, despairing of the future, always counting that the worst will happen because it may happen. To these I say, how much pain have cost us the evils which have never happened? Oh, those voices of fear, they're always there. And at the same time, spring is happening somewhere. We get to identify with what we want to identify. We get to decide which voice will I listen to, because the what we identify with, we heard in the reading, is how we plant the seeds in our consciousness. And the way I see it is the voices of fear might be there, but also little bit by little bit, I see it one person at a time, one consciousness at a time. It's happening. People are starting to wake up and they're starting to say to themselves, you know, I'm not going to make choices in my life based on fear. I'm going to trust that God-given power for regeneration. I'm going to live this life with hope and faith and decency. I'm going to live a spiritual life. I'm not going to live a fear-based life. I'm going to consciously identify with that which I wish to see be birthed in this world. And so where there is darkness, I'm going to bring my light. And where there is sadness, I'm going to bring my joy. And where there's hatred, I'm going to bring my love. And I am not going to wait for the voices of fear and hatred to stop, because if I wait for that, I will wait forever. They're always there, like the shirt in my closet. Always there, always ready and available for me to identify with and to schlep around to the next new beginning. There it is. You know, I learned about this possibility of regeneration, of waking up to a greater yet to be. I learned about it in the Center for Spiritual Living just like this so many, many years ago. I walked in and I learned that we are spiritual beings and that we have a creative power within us that we can use to create joy or pain. And I was taught that which is within us is far more powerful and far more meaningful than anything I had ever been taught before. And that which is in us, that death has no dominion over it. And fear will never extinguish it. And loss cannot defeat it. And you know, I think for me, if I can say the most powerful metaphor I get from the Christian story of the resurrection is that something within us is eternal and it wants to come out of the tomb into the light right now, all the time, endlessly. Now, I wish I could say that these ideas that I learned so long ago took hold immediately and permanently in me. After all, my expensive shirt stayed in the closet for 20 years. Some of the ideas I had to flush out of my consciousness had been there for many, many, many more years. So they kept coming back. So it's been more like a process of scratching at the surface of these spiritual ideas, like breaking through an eggshell from the inside, drawn by the light. And as each crack is made in the eggshell, finding out that on the other side of rebirth, things are always much better, much more hopeful, much more bright than the voices of fear would ever have us believe. Even when tragedy strikes, even when things are very, very difficult, life continues to still be much, much better and much, much more hopeful and brighter than the voices of fear would have us believe. And those voices of fear aren't the enemy's voices. More often than not, they are our own voices, and we get to decide which ones we will identify with. Maybe we don't have to live in constant expectation of danger. Maybe we don't have to hoard and stockpile. Maybe war and separation aren't really the answer. And so many great messengers and teachers like Jesus of Nazareth have come along to say to us, you are powerful. You are powerful, but not because of how you can destroy things. Not because of how you have amassed wealth. Not because of who you know, but more importantly, for a higher reason, you are powerful because of what you are and what lives in you, and because of how you, through that power, can create, because of what you can create, because you have the possibility of being an instrument for a power that is greater than you are. In the stories of Jesus of Nazareth, when all of those miraculous events were starting to happen around him, reportedly he said, I'm not really doing all of this. It's not me who is performing all of these majestic feats of life. It's God within me, and he called God his Father. He said, it's that power within me, that's what's doing the work. And therein is the entire message for today. You are powerful because of what you've got inside of you. So identify with that and not with what is happening around you. Look up from what is happening around you into the light and wake up to the truth of your eternal being. A philosopher once said that up until now, our lives have been kind of like being in a hypnotic trance, like sleepwalking, unaware of what is really going on. And he compared it to his great image. He compared it to a fly crawling across the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, not able to see what it's crawling on. He said, in fact, we cannot see what angels and gods lay beneath the threshold of our perception. What a powerful image. I understand that. I have done that. Looking down so much that I couldn't see the bigger picture. Crawling around in places I shouldn't have been crawling around in. Accepting whatever crumbs of good I could find, finding myself attracted to some pretty stinky situations. And all the time not aware that just below the threshold of my perception, right inside my soul, in the very place I didn't look, there's this giant of creativity calling out to me, to you, saying, do not accept these crumbs. Do not go with the ever-present voice of fear and its downward spiral into despair. This is not good enough for you. Let the shirt go. Something else wants to express through you. One of the 20th century's most interesting artists, Picasso, he made a powerful observation. He said, every act of creation is preceded by an act of destruction. Well, I prefer to express that idea in a gentler way. Like this, for something new to be able to be birthed, something old must fall away. Or another way is to present it to myself as a question. For me to create the kind of love-centered, powerful experience of fearless living that I want, what do I need to put away? What choices am I making that are not supporting that? And it's not just my story, and it's not just your story. This is the perpetual story of ongoing resurrection of all life all the time, over and over and over again. Somewhere spring is trying to happen. The opportunity to identify with newness is ever available to all of us in this moment or the next, in this season or the next, in this life or the next. So why wait? Back to Picasso's statement, it got me to think about another great moment in history of resurrection. The Renaissance, which means rebirth. I was thinking about it because just directly before the Renaissance, a black plague swept across Europe, and some people say that it destroyed up to a half of the population in one of the most devastating events of human history. And out of that darkness, something was born, the Renaissance. And with it, the most explosive revival of art and science and culture. Sometimes I think, we're on the verge of that kind of world transformation. Now, I don't think we're facing another Black Plague, and nor do I think we need one. I think we already have had that period of destruction. Everything up until now. I mean, in sheer madness, we have created enough power to not only completely destroy ourselves, but anything and anyone who could possibly get in the way. Whoa, there goes those voices. So you have to watch that. Be careful, Edward. Those voices of fear are always there to take you on their path down. And I'm not going to live from that. Instead, I'm going to identify with a higher vision. Here you've heard it called the global vision of a world that works for everyone. And I'm guessing each one of us have our own glorious ideas of what that vision might look like. I don't know what yours looks like. But maybe it has in it some ideas like a society that honors every single individual as spiritual beings with full rights and privileges. Or maybe it has in it the idea of raising children so that compassion for self and others is strong in them. Or maybe it has in it the concept of hunger ending on this planet. Or maybe it has space in it for the resurgence of art and music and aesthetics. You probably have your own version of it. And whatever it is to you, we are being invited to plant those ideas in our soul, to identify with them and to call upon them so that we can live out the courage and the decency and the hope that we know our world craves from us. What a lovely song the choir sang to us just a moment ago. What a wonderful set of seeds to plant in our consciousness for this very season of renewal. I thought we might want to say them together again, so I brought them along. I ask you to take a look at those for a moment. And you might notice that in them, the word please does not occur, nor does thank you. Instead, they are a powerful series of affirmative ideas in which we are identifying with and aligning ourselves with a power that is greater than we are indicating that we are ready to let its majesty be born anew through us. That's wonderful. I invite you to say them with me. Make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. Grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in dying that we are born to eternal life. And let us take these words as source material for our time of prayer and meditation. So I invite you to breathe in. As you exhale, let your eyes close if that feels comfortable for you to do so. As we turn within and begin to release everything, all thoughts, as we can, to feel comfortable in this moment of contemplation, so that we may redirect our thought to gratitude. Gratitude for the endless newness that is available around us and in us, in the form of nature, in the form of ideas, in the form of creativity, in the form of new affection and new love. And as we dwell upon the presence of this new emerging love, we let ourselves be lifted up to realize that it is a power greater than we are that is loving through us, acting through us. And so we are today rededicating ourselves to let it work through us, to let its love through us, its light shine through us. And so it is that we become reminded today that we are part of an eternal flow of life. And endlessly, wherever we are, whenever we are, whatever we are doing, we stand in the middle of a choice potential to express our lives in any which way we wish. Today we celebrate that. Through the love that is in us, we identify with each other and with the one love. It is that love that unites us to all that is, to the great architect of the universe, to the great love, the great lover of our lives. And so with humility and awe today, we go forth to love and serve the world and to bring into it all the hope and all the joy and all the clarity that we have. We are free from hypnotism of any downward spiraling, for we have been reestablished today through our faith in the knowledge that God is where we are. And together we say, and so it is.